Hello there. Today I want to talk about found photographs. For over 20 years I've been collecting and scanning discarded photographs that I've sourced from secondhand and charity shops. I must have sifted through tens of thousands of images over this time, and I was looking for those gems that kind of jump out at me. When you combine these images into collections, they present a unique vision of history, because the people who took them weren't self-aware about their photographic process. They were just recording their lives and the things around them and, what they were interested in. My collection is mainly South African found photographs, and so it says a lot about that period in the country's history. It's seen through the eyes of a small segment of the population. During the Apartheid era, white South Africans were living lives similar to people in Europe and America. It was a period when capturing Kodak moments on negative and transparency film was the closest one got to an Instagram experience. These images are imbued with a particular undertone or backstory, because the South Africans who took them were experiencing a way of life that was dependent on the continued suppression of the majority of the country's population. The pictures portray an often idyllic suburban middle-class existence, but the social structure on which it rested was in the end bound to collapse. You'll see in the photographs that there's evidence of the race-based divide within the country, although it filters through in this collection in ways that are often subtle and unintended. It's this naive approach to photography that particularly appeals to me. Unlike, say, photojournalists covering a story, these snappers are not attaching any preconceived ideas or ideologies to their images. Aesthetics are also not often high on their agenda. The act of collecting itself, however, imposes a layer of complexity to the images. As a collector, one's making choices about which images to keep and which images to reject. And this is based on certain criteria and preferences that each person has. And then the way that one arranges the images and presents them also introduces another layer of meaning. There are questions about using other people's likenesses and images to tell my own story. So that conversation could be filled with a minefield of ethical and moral issues. In this first selection, I wanted to create a complex picture of what life was like for white South Africans under apartheid. I wanted to show what is common in almost everyone's lives throughout the world, which is family experiences, big milestones. And these are the common themes that people have photographed over time. But beyond that, there are observations about class, race, society, and culture. Then on a psychological level, one can also focus on aspects of personality or relationships, that kind of thing. I found that so many of the images reveal a level of isolation, and this could maybe put down to the subject being cut off from the photographer by the camera. But also there's a degree of vulnerability generally when people are forced to kind of present their personalities to the world. There's also a sense sometimes that people are completely unaware of their surroundings. They seem to be busy with some activity that is at odds with the scene that surrounds them. During apartheid, most black South Africans couldn't afford cameras, and the whole photographic process was beyond their means. So a large part of that history has been lost because there just aren't the photographs available. Another of my found photograph collection centers around images that are distinctive because of their flaws. Many collections that I came across had lain around in boxes in someone's garage or somewhere, and they'd been exposed to chemicals and moisture generally. Some of these images that were weathered over time are real works of art. Other images in this collection involve strange juxtapositions that are usually the result of things like double exposures or some form of emulsion transfer. I hope that this video really makes you think before you throw out Grandma's collection of slides. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.